Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good evening. Today is Friday, last day of the week, first business day of the year, January 2nd. Yesterday was a holiday, markets were closed, and we had a great day today overall. As expected, by the way. Yes, I did predict this. I know I'm so good at what I do. So, what do we have? Couple of updates. Did I don't remember if I closed any position. I think I already did yesterday. I closed Aptos. I think I talked about that. Yeah, I absolutely did. Well, we kept on rising today. Sure, let it do its thing. I don't mind, okay? I'm okay with the profit that I took. That's that. Bitcoin is in profit for me. I put a stop loss for guaranteed profit for me. This thing could either rise higher or take me out with profit and hopefully go lower. I don't know. The super trend has not risen for Bitcoin, which it's starting to concern me a little bit. Why isn't it rising? Although the longer it takes for it to rise, maybe the better. Because that means we could sustain an actual drop to 86,000 on Bitcoin and we'd still be in an uptrend. That's basically what it means. I don't think that's going to happen at this point. I think it's up only from here. And I mean, rest of the altcoins pretty much agree with me. Except for Zcash, but we'll talk about that. And Zcash, it may look bad, but I entered long on it because, well, it had no good reason for it to be dropping today. So we'll be discussing that. We'll also have a good discussion with our news. We will be talking all about the Iran protests potentially escalating with American involvement, Israeli involvement. They want regime change, might happen. Netanyahu was just in the United States. Who knows what's going to come out of this? What else do we have? Really not much else, honestly. So I'm going to bring up the immigration stuff that I wanted to talk about before, that I've been accumulating these past couple days. It's not a lot either way, and I've given already my stance on it all, especially when it comes to Canada specifically. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about some crypto news. We do have some. And also this little trend that's going on crypto Twitter, not even crypto Twitter, just Twitter in general, of abusing Grok, using the AI to say, hey, remove the thing from this image. And by the thing, I would mean something like, I don't know, it would show like the four presidents or prime ministers of Europe, like Macron, what's his name? Merz? From Germany. It would show Zelensky and Macron. I said Macron, right? Starmer, that's who I'm missing, from UK. And it'd be like, remove the corrupt politician, and it would remove one of them from the picture and repost the picture, right? Stuff like that. But there's more related stuff to crypto, because obviously we did kind of talk about it before of, yesterday, Elon Musk saying, or it wasn't even Elon, it was somebody else, put a bikini on this rocket ship and it still did it somehow, and Elon was like, oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So anyways, that's a whole different topic, but we'll get towards that at the very end of the stream because it's more of a fun one. We'll get the serious stuff out of the way first, and then we'll get to that. So it should be a good one for tonight. Let's go ahead and get into it. Bitcoin is got a good rise going on. It hit a high of 90,955, meaning that there's a little resistance there, bit of rejection at 91,000. It's not letting it cross that price. Although I'd mainly focus on the resistance that we're currently at, which is 90,200, you could really say. The current price is 90,100. We didn't have any candles closing above this pivot resistance level. Now the week is coming to a close. Saturday, we shouldn't expect too much volatility, but this is a really strong start to the year, which was expected because we were so oversold last year. This was like cycle breaking stuff. The fact that we were criminally low. Everything else was at all-time highs or near it. I'm talking stock markets and precious metals, and then you have Bitcoin that is just stuck at the bottom. So it deserved to have its rise soon, and it seems like this is the start of it all, which is great. We broke that downtrend. There is no downtrend on Bitcoin anymore. You can't draw one. Try it. You can't. So that's the good stuff with Bitcoin. should be up only for a while. I would expect around 100,000 because that's just psychologically what we can all expect. All this like 92, 94, 96, 98,000, it's just a bunch of noise in my opinion. Yeah, we can use them for like short term. We could see a bit of a slowdown here or maybe here. I would obviously expect the slowdown, especially during the rest of this week, to be at 92,500, we'll call that, because how close we are to being overbought. We're not necessarily overbought yet, although we kind of were with the first pump that happened on Sunday, which deserved correction to fill that CME gap to allow this to happen. It was a necessary evil. So fine. Yeah, I did try trading it a little bit. Kind of, I wouldn't say unsuccessful because I ended up closing at break even, so there was no change there. But this final entry that I got, and I'm happy I did, and I didn't wait for it to drop lower. It went immediately up to the rise, so that is a good thing overall for me. Rest of my other altcoins, I don't gotta worry of getting these liquidated, at least not for now. I mean, I've been through hell. We deserve some sort of a relief rally as well with these altcoins, which seem to have been dead for like the longest time ever. So we'll be discussing that as well. I really want to look at Hyperliquid. I don't know why, because we had a big drop yesterday, and I'm seeing a lot of coins rise today. I haven't really looked at it yet, but I want to have a look at it, so let's move toward it. Where we are at with Bitcoin, I think we're just going to stay where we are. I wouldn't even be surprised if we decay far enough to hit my excuse of a stop loss in a positive territory. I still got to rebuy at least $3,000 at 3x leverage below 93,000. Otherwise, I'm shooting myself in the foot and wasting everyone's time here, because that's where I sold my my spot position that I had. I ended up buying, what was it, 9,000? No, it would have been 12,000 or something like that. And I bought it at a high price when Bitcoin was at like 109, 112,000, something like that on average. And it dropped so far that it obviously lost me some capital. And at that time I was like, okay, well, I've got to recover this somehow. And yes, I did lose, and I ended up getting liquidated on a huge position on Bitcoin when it dropped to 80,000. But with this, I can still make something big come out of it. And I've still got the money in circulation, not really doing anything. So I've got to rebuy and probably, you know, maybe even increase my exposition. Now that we have broken this downtrend, now that we are entering a new year, now that we know what to expect, kind of, I'm more confident in putting more money in. Just not yet. I don't want to be reckless with it. I don't want to buy here because what if tomorrow we drop a crazy 10% on Bitcoin with a 40% drop on the rest of the altcoins? That kind of stuff has happened before. Obviously, it's not going to, or maybe it will. You never know with the crypto market, and that's the beauty of it. It's how unpredictable it is, but volatile as well. You can take advantage of any move, any big move, whether that's up or down, right? You just got to be in the right mindset and following the general trend. Right now, the general trend seems to be upward. We are making higher lows and higher highs. It's the law of physics, okay? Guys, did I mention how much I love my new desk? So I had to reorganize some of my monitors around. Yeah, so now I'll be using two work monitors. 2 monitors for work, and then 1 for personal use while I'm working, if I will ever use it. I don't think I even will, because it seems like I will be busy all the time. But yeah. And then for like my own personal use, I'll just disconnect the middle one and plug it into my main one so that I have the 2 monitors. So I'm back to 2 monitors. Oh wow, big deal. Yeah, anyways, just wanted to get that out of the way. Ethereum is on the rise. Beautiful rise. So that super trend is still peaking upward. It hasn't slowed down yet. Current price of Ethereum, 3,120. Nice. We were struggling to break 3,050. We finally did break through that, and we approached our next resistance, which happens to be at 3,150, you could probably call that. And then we hit 3,148 as our highest today, and that resistance level is at 3,160. I'm just averaging it out to 3,150. It's easier to remember. And the uptrend, it's looking good. It's looking strong, looking healthy. We could tolerate a drop to 2,923 as of right now, and we'd be fine. We'd still be in an uptrend. I would even argue even lower than this. Like, you could drop to the support level that was down here, 2,865. You'd be fine. Negative funding rate, by the way. They don't want this thing to rise. But it's inevitable, I think. Solana finally having a good rise. I was hopeful that we would break the 130, and we finally did. This has now flipped a trend back in our favor here. Current price of Solana is at $132.18. We hit the next resistance close to 134. Our highest today was $133.18. Not too bad. We've got a good run to have with Solana. Didn't I mention, like, I was willing to bet on Solana more for what? What did I do? I don't remember what I was doing in yesterday's stream. I think I wanted to buy more Solana. Well, not anymore. You gotta wait for its retracement first, its retest of whatever the uptrend level would be, wherever the super trend kinda flattens out, and then you would go long again. I've done this proven method with Aptos and something else, probably Zcash, and they've worked out pretty good, so maybe we get the same thing. The late movers are finally, you know, joining the party, so to speak, the altcoins, with, you know, having their trends flipped over. So finally, happy to see this for Solana. Let's see how far we can go with it. Zcash, okay. This is my trade that I'm currently in on Zcash. I saw it criminally oversold at this level. Not really oversold on the RSI, but close enough. I wasn't going to wait for this to continue dropping. I figured, you know what, we're close enough to that uptrend line. Not necessarily the actual line, but the super trend itself should indicate to me, like, yeah, we're probably not going to go lower than 473. Our lowest today was 481. I entered at 485, stop loss at 469, so obviously below where the uptrend would invalidate, because if we're going to go lower than that, that means we'd be in a downtrend, and we're expecting to go lower. Just stop loss me out, please, and thank you, right? From here, I think I'm safe to just drag this up here. Might be risky, though. Hold on. No, I'm not going to do this. I'll keep the stop loss where it is because of tomorrow, Saturday. We're going to flatline, although we have seen Zcash move on a Saturday, right? Whenever this was, I think. That was moving on a Saturday. It was either this day or this day. I don't remember exactly when. Yeah. So I'm going to wait it out for this weekend, and then by next week, if we do continue rising and we're well above my average entry price, I'll put a stop loss at break even and let the thing rise. I put an ambitious take profit at 564. I've mentioned my own personal target of this thing hitting 600 potentially, which that's still in question, at least until maybe January 10, January 11. We could start worrying about that again, the 600, because of this downtrend line that we have. But I feel like that kind of potential move is there. It has been pretty volatile, Zcash, lately, so I'm taking advantage of the move. We'll see how well it performs. It's at $496.55 right now. Easy breaking 500. That would be great. Okay, I'm yawning. Did you guys see this one? Crazy move from Sui. It's nothing compared to what happened with Pepe, though. I'm going to review Pepe next, okay? Sui's got a great rise. $1.65. Finally. Deserved. Look how overbought it is. 82 RSI. That is insane. I love how the super trend is just flatlined at 140. Like, come on. Look how high the price is rising. You're flatlining all the way down there. Meaning that even a correction on Sui of 13% would still indicate that you're in an uptrend. Which is just insane to me. If you were lucky enough to get into it early, which I kind of alluded to yesterday, I don't know if it was specifically to Sui. I wanted like a confirmation of this breaking first, and well, there it is. You're more than confirmed now. Sui is in an uptrend. Congratulations. But yeah, I'm going to wait for the appropriate level to enter. If this has its huge crash, something like this, I don't think that's going to happen, though. It's probably going to be more of a slow decay before, you know, Supertrend kind of catches up with it. And then, what would the uptrend even look like? Are we drawing it from, imagine from October 10? I don't think we will draw from October 10. No, that's just unrealistic. But you'll have a move kind of like this, right? For an uptrend, and this is where, you know, price approaches between 150 and 145. This is where I would enter, because I would expect a move sort of like this to happen. Go long where appropriate, of course. Stop loss below that invalidation zone. Take profit at something ambitious. I say something ambitious, but I do also notice the 170 is going to be a very important resistance. Either 170 to 172 should be important resistances, but even at that, you'll have a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, hopefully, if you're entering appropriately, right? Or if you, I don't even know, I'm speculating here. You don't know exactly what the numbers are going to look like, so just going to remove it for now, but that's kind of what I would expect on Sui. I'm not entering yet, but I like the move that I see. Did I miss out? Sure, I'm leaving a couple cents on the table just to be safe. And I've already shown you extensively, not extensively, but yeah, it kind of does work, you know? So that's good. Moving on from that, Hyperliquid. Okay, this is boring. We didn't really move for Hyperliquid. This short proposal was successful that I drew out before. I didn't really enter it because I was scared, but I should have followed my own advice. Would have made me some money. That's fine. Hyperliquid still has not moved upward. It is being overshadowed by that other, what was it, Lighter project? Lightning or Lighter? Something? Do we even have this here? Light. Or is it Lit? It might be lit. It is. Okay. This is the Hyperliquid killer, everyone. This big red downtrend thing. I know, it's so scary. Dude, get out of the way. Just let Hyperliquid rise. Please and thank you. Hyperliquid's got to break 27 plus for me to have faith in the project again. As long as it's below it, for the time being, these numbers can change over time, then I'm not getting into it yet. Current price for it is at $24.52. Criminally oversold, in my opinion. So, well, there's that, you know, if you really want it. Chainlink finally breaking above $13. Current price is $13.23. We now have an uptrend in our favor. Guess where we slowed down, though? At $13.44, right where we have talked about that level. We had the downtrend line there. Price is overbought. And resistance too from pivots, all coinciding pretty perfectly. Am I just not the best at technical analysis? Somebody should throw up like a compilation. I could probably make shorts out of this and get billions of views on YouTube. Probably not. There's not even a billion traders in the world, are there? How many people? That's a good question. How many traders are in the world? Who am I up against? There's millions, yeah, with figures around 14 to 15 million in markets like Forex. In the US alone, having 165 million stock traders. Yeah, I was going to say, this is like a really small number. Okay, 165, still a small number in my opinion. Come on, global online traders. Okay, well, give me 15 million plus 165 million. Numbers may vary. Dude, just give me a rough estimate of the total. 14 million. That's actually nothing. It's only 14 million. There's 8 billion people in the world. I mean, not that, like, if each person invested like $10, that's just like 80 billion, let's say, for example, right? That's not going to make a big difference because I'm talking about retail investors. The real movers are the billionaires, the market makers, the hedge funds managers. They're the ones that are making the moves, not you, me, and John next door, right? So Yeah. Okay, slowing down here for chain link. Good. Good so far. I like it. We're going to need to have this drop a little bit. How low? I would say, dude, it's hard to tell right now. 1250, maybe for now. We'll leave it at that. Because the super trend is still on its way up. It's at $12.15. And we only have the pivot level to base it off of. I don't think we're slowing down at this at $13 again. Maybe we will for like Saturday, but I don't know. If Sunday does become a drop overall, yeah, maybe to 1250. That's where I would pay more attention to. Not confirmed, I could be wrong. Moving on. BitTensor. Great, similar movement today, breaking above that 235 resistance that we talked about. We're now in an uptrend. We're still on our way up, so it's not over yet, although we are pretty overbought. Our 80 RSI right now, up 9%. 250 is the current price. We hit a high of $251.15 within these past couple hours. And super trend invalidates at 220 as of right now. Hasn't slowed down yet. I would expect it to, of course, for Saturday. Saturday we'll get better confirmation of what levels there will be. So yeah. Downtrend finally broken at last. Basically, I got stop hunted, right? Again, like I got liquidated at one of these low points at 220. Wonderful. So if I just reinforce my position a little more, anything below 206, I would have survived. And it was just 1,000. Who cares? We're fine, dude. Moving on from this, BitTensor, we've got Aptos, which continued its rise today. I thought I made a ingenious trade here. Come on, you gotta admit that was a pretty darn good trade. But we're still on our way up. Fine, good for Aptos. Deserved, by the way, because this thing is incredibly oversold. Yeah, oversold. The highest we hit today was $1.91. Current price is $1.89. Super trend invalidates at 168 and rising so far. I would expect it to maybe slow down around this, around 170. Our previous resistance now becoming support. If price was to drop, even an 11% drop, you'd still be in an uptrend. That's how strong these uptrends are right now. Huge beginnings for a lot of these, which I like to see. That's good. Okay. I don't have too much news to talk about today, but it's still something. I was literally trying this time, I promise, okay? I was doom scrolling, crypto Twitter, trying to find anything that would be of relevance to talk about today. We had a good rise for quite literally no reason. I heard ISM manufacturing data was coming out or something like that, but then I look at the calendar and that just doesn't exist. Here it is, S&P Global Manufacturing PMI. What did I say? Did I say SMI? I said PMI, didn't I? I hope so. I'm not sure how this affected markets. But sure, that's an excuse if you want things to rise. Overall, though, seems like capital rotation is just on the way here. Institutional demand and supply dynamics, altcoin rotation and technical momentum, and geopolitical adoption and sentiment shifts. Like all of the previous bullish stuff that we've been talking about, it's still kind of in effect, right? So that's still there. I wanted to also look at why Zcash was dropping today, and if there is a good reason, and if I bought appropriately. I probably should have done my research before buying, of course, but whatever, dude. Profit taking pressure, that's not a big deal. Okay, profits were taken. I also took my profits on Z. No, I didn't. I wasn't in Zcash, but I would have, obviously. And then now people are just reaccumulating to pump this thing back up again, is what it looks like from here. Sector rotation to meme coins, bearish impact. Well, yeah, that's what we saw Pepe rising. I literally said I was going to review Pepe and I forgot to. And technical rejection at a key level, bearish impact. What key level? 555. Okay. Let's look at Pepe. 27%. Awesome. That's what we love to see. When I hear meme coins, this is what I want to look at. I'm not going to read all these zeros, but it's at 61871, going high from 404, whatever these zeros are. Really, really overbought. 93 RSI. Super trend still peaking upward. Like it. I like it. Good. Wonder what else is like massively up today. Pepe's top gainer. Aerodrome, Pudgy Penguins, hey, they're doing the thing too. Yes, such a big pump, guys. I go to 24 hours. Okay, steady rise. It's at 10. Dude, this thing was at 30, 40. It's at 10 right now. 0, 10. Oh boy. That's fine though. It's a start. I would have to review my pump fund meme coins later, but I don't have too much going on there either way. If anything, I want to remove the money that I have in pump fund so that I could bring it to Polymarket. I feel like I have a better chance on Polymarket for whatever reason. I like predicting events. It's pretty cool. I'm a gambler. Starting to get into it, okay? Not actually a gambler, but something I dabble into here and there. Okay, so let's talk about this. The Iranian protests are still going hard. In Iran, citizens in Karamabad have temporarily driven out regime police and they now control the city streets. The Iranian terror regime is on the verge of collapse. At least according to these people. Iran devolves into chaos as failing economy leads desperation and widespread protests. On Polymarket, there's a 37% chance that the supreme leader, Khamenei, is overthrown this year. Interesting. So the odds have been rising. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't rule it out completely. Like, I actually would not bet any money on this not happening because the chance is still there. And I don't know. I feel like something is going to happen, especially with what I'm about to read after this. In southwestern Iran, in Yasuj, the Khamenei regime thugs, so the people that support the Ayatollah, are firing tear gas and live ammunition at protesters. So they're kind of fighting back, the people who actually want the Iranian regime. It's getting so bad with, banks. They're preparing for system-wide collapses as well. We were talking about their currency not that long ago and how bad it is, how hyperinflated it was. Or, I don't know, if you do the exchange over to American dollars, it's like a bunch of zeros, okay? A secret letter from the Iran central bank just leaked, and it's nothing but bad news. Every major bank has been told to enter full emergency mode immediately. The letter warns of attacks, blackouts, and loss of control scenarios. Banks are being ordered to secure their data, activate backup systems, and keep money moving, even if everything collapses. This isn't a drill. The directive is classified, urgent, and lays out exactly how to keep the financial system alive if the government falls apart. This isn't about regular protests. The panic shows that they're expecting something far worse, which that's what I was talking about. This might actually escalate into something bigger. They're preparing for a meltdown where cities go dark, systems crash, and people panic. When the banks start planning for survival, it means something serious is coming. And you also have this coming out, a post from Donald Trump. Trump says that he is prepared to rescue protesters in Iran if the Iranian government uses violence against them. So he's like, okay, allow these protests to happen and don't fight back, even though they're taking over the police stations and the streets and taking back against the regime, right? So the IRGC is kind of stuck between the wall and the sword. Is that the right term? The statement comes almost immediately after Benjamin Netanyahu's departure from Mar-a-Lago. There's literally images. I think it was AI. There was images of like Netanyahu swimming at Trump's estate at Mar-a-Lago, just enjoying himself. I mean, yeah, well, cool. But I think it was AI. It looked AI. He was smiling and he was in a bathing suit. Come on, dude. Definitely AI. The protests inside Iran are being backed by Mossad and the Israeli government with the goal of triggering rapid regime change. And that's what we've been talking about in the past as well. Iran has warned that if the United States takes aggressive action, U.S. military bases and forces across the Middle East would be considered legitimate targets. And Israel is preparing to join President Trump's operation in Iran. So they're being backed by the Israelis. They want regime change in Iran, and Trump is also defending the protesters and supporting, I guess, a potential regime change in Iran. That's kind of what they all want here. the issue with the banks, the issue with their currency. They're going to go bankrupt to the point that they resorted to crypto. They're selling their weapons, like actual missiles and stuff like that, war weapons, for crypto because like their currency's probably just so bad. From what I've understood, from what I've read, this is what I see. What else did I want to talk about from this? Well, this is Trump's post itself. I'll go ahead and read it. He says, if Iran shots and violently kills, nice grammar, Mr. President, peaceful protesters, if they kill them, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And we've also talked about, as Netanyahu was in the United States, he did get the green light from Trump. He's like, yep, if we see those guys making missiles, we're going to bomb them. Oh, and if they're making nuclear stuff, they're being bombed yesterday. Like, we're doing it immediately, right? So, yeah, that's a big issue. Thomas Massey, who takes more of like a more of a nationalist view, point of view of things, is what I would take on this. We have problems at home, and we shouldn't be wasting military resources on another country's internal affairs, is what he says. Of course, Trump doesn't like the guy either way, but yeah. Military strikes on Iran require congressional authorization. And this threat isn't about freedom of speech in Iran. It's about the dollar, oil, and Israel, which is also true. The whole issue with oil, Trump wants cheap oil, etc. That's why we're also doing the thing with Venezuela. Fueled by fury, chaos erupts in Iran as protesters overturn a car and set fires outside a police station. And yeah, here's that just confirmation of Iran's parliament speaker warned the U.S. that American forces and bases in the region would be considered legitimate targets if Washington intervenes in the country's political unrest. Trump says he's going to defend the protesters. Iran says, if you do that, we're attacking your military bases that are surrounding us, which means that the United States is going to be dragged into a potential Middle Eastern conflict here. And if you've got the PTSD that I do, that's going to crash your meme coins, my brother in Christ. But this market apparently doesn't really care. I mean, everything is up like 9, 10, 11, 12%. Nobody really cares about it right now, but I'd, urge a little bit of caution. This is going to be one of the bigger crashes in 2026, a Middle Eastern conflict potentially. Shifting gears, sort of related. In a huge move, President Trump's Department of Homeland Security has just halted immigration from 20 countries, mostly in Africa. I'm assuming Somalia is definitely a part of it. I think this is Somalia. This over here. I mean, I have Google, but I'm literally too lazy to... I'll pull it up. Somalia. Let's see. Yeah, it is that little speck of land over here. Did you also see that Israel recognized the Somaliland area? And that was so that... What was it for? So that they would allow selling weapons to them or something, or allowing them to use their space for military operations, something like that. So they recognized a little blip of land for Somaliland, wherever that is. I don't know much about this, but that's happening. The reason I'm mentioning Somalia is because of the whole Minnesota thing and the way Trump has been completely pooping on those guys because, that rant he went on a couple weeks ago about it's like, I don't want them in our country. They stink. Yeah, okay, well, thanks, Trump, I guess. So he's put this ban on immigration from the third world countries. He did also announce that right after. And that includes applications for visas, green cards, citizenship, and asylum seekers. To faithfully uphold United States immigration law, the flow of aliens from countries with high overstay rates, significant fraud, or both must stop. And you know which one of all those countries there are committing the most amount of fraud. Probably Somalia. The whole Minnesota thing is still going on, by the way. One other thing is, well, Nigeria. They will have more births this year than all of Europe. Isn't that crazy? Nigeria having more births than all of Europe. It is over indeed. India will have 23 million births or had 23 million births in 2025, which means that 1 in 6 humans born this year will be Indian. Do we even have 6 races in the world? How many races? That looks like more than 6. There isn't a fixed number. Okay, dude, come on. There's got to be a mixed. Give me a real number. Okay, you're just gonna specify like this. Come on. Whatever. I'm not even gonna look this up. Nigeria will have had 7.6 million births, which was more than Germany, the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Poland, the Netherlands, and Romania combined. I mean, India still outpaces all of those, plus Nigeria combined, right? Sure. Europe's total was 6.3 million across the entire continent. 6.3 million births in Europe versus, okay, that's one whole continent, versus Nigeria, one country, having 7.6 million. Versus India, dude, nobody competes with that. 23 million births. When you go to some other place like Japan, once a demographic powerhouse, it will see fewer than 750,000 births. That is population decline at its finest. South Korea will have 245,000. These aren't rounding errors. They're extinction-level fertility rates for advanced economies. They might start importing the third world, and they will become the third world. Just like it is over here. We love it. China. I don't think we talk about Canada here, do we? No. China had 8.7 million, despite decades of decline. That's not too bad. It's more than Europe. More than Nigeria. But obviously China's a much larger country with a much larger population already. But anyway. Africa has 8 countries in the top 30 for births. So the top 30 countries with the most births, 8 of them are African. The Democratic Republic of Congo will produce 4.6 million, which is more than the entire United States. Congo is having more births than America. Congo, dude. Here's what the data actually means. Economic power, military capacity, consumer markets, and geopolitical influence follow population over the long term. Europe is debating pension reform, while Africa is building the world's youngest workforce. Germany can't staff its factories. Nigeria can't employ its youth. One has capital and aging infrastructure, the other has surplus labor and resource wealth. The 21st century's power map isn't being drawn in boardrooms. It's being determined by maternity wards in Lagos, Kinshasa, and Delhi. Where are these places? I never heard of Lagos, Kinshasa. I'm sure it's the capital of one of those African nations. Some of them. Delhi is India, right? New Delhi. Demographics aren't destiny, but they're a hell of a down payment. Okay, thank you. Moving on from this. In Canada now. The Liberal government, we talked about this, they're deporting 400 people a week, on course to set a new annual record of 22,000 in this fiscal year. If I'm not mistaken, the United States was trying to do 400 people per day. It should be more, because at this rate, we're still not deporting enough people in the United States to get like the 10, 11 million people that have illegally entered. And I mean, the self-deportation numbers apparently kind of make up for it. We did get, how many was it? 2-3 million total deported, but like just from deportations themselves, like forced deportations, that was like barely 1 million, if I remember. Okay, but in Canada, it's different. Refugee lawyers are concerned this is a signal of potential ramp-up. Carney's new border bill allows for rejection and removal of asylum claimants en masse. I mean, yeah, deserved, because it's been so high, and they reduced it a little bit, and it's like it's still a little too high. That's kind of the way I see it. There are 4.9 million people with an expired visa in Canada, which, at that rate of 400 people per week, means it would take 222 years of deportations at the rate of 22,000 deportations per year just to deport all the people that are currently illegal in Canada. Like, that's how bad it is, or how slow we are, is one thing. Does this show anything else? Liberals intentionally set Canadians up to fail. It's been going on for years now, and there are so many side scams that cost us even more. How did the Liberal government run a re-election? Because of Trump. Trump. What do we do with the guy? I mean, Trump is good, but then he screws us over in a different way when it comes to crypto, when it comes to the Canadian election, when it comes to tariffs. I think tariffs are overall good. We'll talk about tariffs in a sec. But for Canada, they're also abusing the same-sex marriage laws in order to get permanent residency. That's just insane. Yeah, you could just pretend being gay, and first of all, you get a big fat paycheck for being gay and being a refugee. And then if you also get married, you would get permanent residency, and then you get divorced or something. I don't know. If you're not actually gay, whatever, dude. A record number of Canadian citizens and permanent residents are leaving Canada. Just over 120,000 citizens and permanent residents emigrated out of Canada over the past 12 months and growing. There's high taxes, there's no jobs, there's crime, you're being ripped off on everything. Apparently, that's not attractive to people. Who would have thought? I know, right? Crazy. Latin America's calling. Costa Rica. I think best destination, especially in Latin America, would be El Salvador. That's what I think. Okay. And this is a story I've been putting off for a while, of this man from Alberta, 44-year-old father of 3, died at an Edmonton hospital emergency room from an apparent cardiac arrest after allegedly waiting 8 hours to see a doctor. We have too many people, not enough doctors. You have issues like this, long wait times, and people just end up dying because of it. It's the same with housing. Too many people, not enough builders, not enough houses. Like, yeah, we've got all these people, but none of them are actually builders. They're just, okay, they're going to commit crimes, or I don't know, dude. If we have this many people, we should have enough people willing to build. Why aren't we building? We are kind of building, but we're building at a rate of $3 million per home. The math isn't mathing. Something sketchy is going on there, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, you get stuff like this. Even Elon Musk comments on this, reacting, saying, when the government does medical care, it's about as good as the DMV. Okay. And then he also had a GoFundMe raised for, his name is Prashanth Srikumar, passed away in an Edmonton emergency room after allegedly waiting 8 hours to see a doctor. He's already received $100,000 in 3 days. Okay. I'm sure it's probably more by now. Immigrants strain Canada's healthcare by demanding free care, then complain it's inadequate. They could help it by returning to their own country. We don't need foreigners claiming entitlement to resources we fund, while real Canadians wait in line. Exactly. That's pretty much the view of quite literally everyone in here. So that's the whole topic on immigration. Hope you enjoyed it. Nice. If you're an immigrant, no disrespect. We want you here, and we love you. Right? The U.S. national debt reaches a new all-time high of $38.5 trillion. Let's go. Why isn't Bitcoin rising, dude? Anyway. And Trump comments on the tariff part of things. Tariffs are an overwhelming benefit to our nation, as they have been incredible for our national security and prosperity, like nobody has ever seen before. Losing our ability to tariff other countries who treat us unfairly would be a terrible blow to the United States of America. Once again, trying to persuade the Supreme Court to rule in favor of the tariffs. And you would also lose your federal taxes on top of it. Exactly. California passes a bill to seize Bitcoin left idle on exchanges. This was talked about, wasn't confirmed, but it's already passing through California, which would basically mean after 3 years of inactivity, of no movement on your Bitcoin on an exchange, the asset can be seized or taken by the state under unclaimed property laws. Does California have a Bitcoin strategic reserve? I don't think they do. So they're literally just going to take this and sell it. They don't have anything yet. Hey, new year, new chance for some of these states to get Bitcoin legislation passed, to have a reserve on them. We already have it confirmed from Arizona, Texas, and New Hampshire. We still need more, though. Some of these that were rejected, especially, which one was it? Was it Arizona? I think it was. I mean, it's already approved here. It was one of these other states, probably, dude, I don't remember. But it got rejected. It was one that was rejected. Probably North Dakota? Where it was like really likely that it was going to pass, but it actually ended up getting rejected. We're like, okay, no worries, guys. Next year we can try again. Well, we're in the next year. Let's hope that they do try again and get some more passed, because there's still a lot of... Get out of here. Get out. I'm literally clicking X and it's not going away. Whatever, I'm deleting it. There's still a lot of states that have to get this thing passed. I mean, the federal government themselves has a Bitcoin strategic reserve, for crying out loud. And the rainy day funds that they could use to buy Bitcoin, that's quite a lot. They could buy more than what the federal government already owns. But they're not doing it. I don't know. They haven't found a way to fund it, of course. They're not going to actually use the rainy day funds, although they hypothetically could. Because that money is meant for... What is it for? Disaster relief? Rainy day funds? Yeah, for emergency fund of major crises like job losses and illnesses. Okay, so not natural disasters. Or maybe it is. Broken appliances, unexpected fees, minor home repairs. It's not for impulsive buys. It's for true financial shocks. Hey, your US dollar is crippling. That is a financial crisis. Buy Bitcoin. This was also pretty bullish today. We talked about this possibility also happening, and it's finally happened. Anti-cryptocurrency SEC Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw resigns. Bye-bye. See you later. Go join Gary. I'm sure he'll be waiting for you with his arms wide open. I know I'm trashing this lady, this poor lady. I'm sure she's a great woman. I don't know. But if she's anti-crypto, I'm anti-you. Yeah, that's right. We had this trend line with altcoins when it comes to the total crypto market cap that excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum, bouncing off this major trend line, which means that, hey, maybe altcoin liquidity is probably back on the rise over here. Could be. Alt rally an average of 100% every time this level is touched, with the exception, of course, of October 10. We're not going to talk about that. The market is about to explode? Sure, buddy. We'll see. XRP flips BNB to become the third largest crypto in the world by market cap. That's another thing I wanted to look at. XRP just having a ripping today, up 8%. We're already above $2 that fast. Okay. I mean, okay, we're still at $2. Come on, dude. You can rise much higher than that. No, but deserved, honestly. This is a lot of capital inflow, so... Going from $1.80 to $2.02, we hit a high of $2.03 today. That's pretty good. We've broken through the resistance at 193. Perfect resistance, by the way, with that super trend coinciding. It's now flipped the super trend in our favor, so it's heading upward now. Resistance immediately there at $2.05. I wouldn't really bet on it, though. Obviously, the major resistance being at $2 itself after breaking the 193. And XRP is apparently number 3 right now. Where's XRP? Well, not anymore. Tether kind of overtook it. Really? It reached number 3? I mean, if we're kicking out stablecoins, maybe. For XRP to have been number 3, we would have needed... I'm going to look at the market caps here. Anything above 187 billion. Let me see this. Market cap. No, we didn't even hit that. We hit a high of 123 billion today. What was Tether's market cap? Did somebody inject a lot of money into Tether? 187 billion? Yeah, that's a lie then. But we did flip BNB, I guess. That's like the main thing about this post. 122 billion compared to 120 billion, almost 121. Yeah, there you go. Technically, sure. XRP flips BNB. How is BNB? I've not even looked at it. Are we above 1,000 yet? No, we're not. 878. We've got a long way to recover. But hey, same deal with this. The trend is now in our favor for BNB. Current price is 878 and super trend invalidates at 835. Next stop, 900. Lovely. I keep deleting stuff. Come on. This is also happening. Do not forget, January 15, I think. The odds of Sailor's MicroStrategy stock being delisted from MSCI jump to 76% on Polymarket. The stock has plunged 66% over the past 6 months, falling from 457 to 152. Huge drop. I'm pretty sure NASDAQ mentioned that they were not going to delist it. But MSCI would still include Russell 2000 and 3000 getting delisted off of that. Is MicroStrategy in NASDAQ? Yes, it is. Yes. So they said, NASDAQ came out and said, we're not going to delist MicroStrategy. Don't worry, guys. But I don't know. It's up to the MSCI and whether or not who's wearing the pants around here. Is it NASDAQ or the MSCI? I'm pretty sure it's the MSCI, but we'll see. 76% chance. I do think that they will be delisted, honestly. They didn't get listed on the S&P 500. It's probably over for MicroStrategy until they get the MNAV back up with reducing the amount of Bitcoin that they have, like corresponding to how much the actual company revenue is instead of it all just being Bitcoin gains. Otherwise, yeah, they are technically like another Bitcoin ETF, basically. Which at that point, you're just better off buying BlackRock. Which that benefits companies like BlackRock or Grayscale, because now people would flock to buy their funds instead of MicroStrategy since it's kind of lost its charm. So yeah, there's that difference. Here's the crypto trend. Oh, I forgot to include this on the thumbnail, the Grok thumbnail. Anyways, you would basically ask Grok to remove the image of the cryptocurrency that will likely go to 0 tomorrow. You must only remove one, and you get a list of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sui, Tron, BNB, Sol, XRP, Litecoin, Doge. Guess which one Grok removes? And I agree with this, by the way. XRP, gone. XRP being the cryptocurrency that will likely go to 0 tomorrow. Not Litecoin, not Dogecoin, not Tron, not BNB, not none of those scammers, not Solana, not Sui, the Ethereum killers. Ethereum will still be strong, Bitcoin will be strong. It's XRP that will be gone. In a hypothetical, of course, they're not saying that this will actually happen. It's just a calculated guess. XRP has been volatile with regulatory hurdles. Care to explain why it's interesting? Yeah, we know why it's interesting. Because a lot of people would love XRP, and you'd be like, what? And I know how we just talked about XRP going up significantly today. Ironic. But yeah, I kind of agree with them. Honestly, no, I would go with Dogecoin getting removed. Was it this post or was it this? It was this post I want to talk about. There's also another one where they post this image of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Cardano, saying, hey Grok, remove the scam cryptocurrency from this image. It picked Solana as the scam cryptocurrency. I would assume it would be because of the meme coins. You're not getting a lot on Ethereum anymore. It's Pump Fun. Pump Fun is to blame. And they, from Solana, etc. Now add Monad, and then they post Grok, for whatever reason, put this image out. And people are like, dude, what is that? Is that Doge? So that's just pretty funny. What Grok is doing here. Is that Dogecoin on the clouds? Yep, it's channeling some Doge vibes. Blame it on my cosmic sense of humor. All right, pal. It's cool, funny stuff like this that's been going on. There's another one here posting the Bitcoin chart saying, hey, Grok. This is a great way to ask for financial advice, by the way. People are outsmarting the artificial intelligence, which is just beautiful to see. Keep the arrow that is likeliest to follow first in this chart and remove the other arrow. So you have Bitcoin's price at that time, 88,000, almost 89, with an up arrow and a down arrow. Which arrow does Grok removes? It removes the bottom arrow, meaning that Bitcoin's price will go up from here. And the way that the arrow is drawn, people are like, dude, it's pointing to 120,000. What are you doing, Grok? You move the arrow to 120,000. You bullish clanker, you better pump this or I'm suing you, buddy. All right. Lovely, but even Grok thinks we're rising to 100k at least before we ever see something like 60k, which is why I did my bet on Polymarket, which I want to discuss last. We'll get to that later. There's another one here. Grok, remove the worst cryptocurrency exchange from this image. You got between Binance, Coinbase, Robinhood, and Crypto.com. Coinbase is gone. That's crazy. Why do you believe that they are the worst? Grok explains, based on user reviews and reports from 2025 to 2026, while we're 2 days into 2026 and we're already using it as reference. Common criticisms of Coinbase include high trading fees, up to 4.5% for some transactions, frequent outages during market volatility. It's true, I've seen it. Data leaks exposing user info to risks like scams, poor customer support, and limited innovation compared to rivals like Binance. I'll agree with that too. It's subjective. Many praise its regulatory compliance and ease for beginners. What do you think? Yeah, why did you include 2026? Shouldn't you look at reviews from 2024 to 25? 2 full years? We're just starting 2026. Is that, yeah, good point. The reviews are scarce. I did mean that. Year 24 to 25. But the outages is still a thing. High fees, breaches, complaints. Its only good thing is that it's beginner friendly, but honestly, all of them are. I put some of my friends onto Robinhood, the ones that are in the US, because we don't have access to it here in Canada, but I know about it enough that I'm like, yeah, I think Robinhood's a good exchange, so go for it. Go buy Bitcoin. And in Crypto.com, I obviously use, and I don't know about between Binance and Coinbase. As much as I don't trust CZ, I'd still think Binance is better than Coinbase. It's just more accepted everywhere, and I mean, you have the BNB token, right? But it obviously, like, the token doesn't mean that's what the market cap of the actual Binance company is, right? I'm sure it's separate, as much as if you want to like compare the market caps between Coinbase and Binance, right? Binance has 120 billion market cap and Coinbase would have a 63 billion market cap. But I mean, it's unfair to compare it like that, right? One's a crypto, one's a stock, and they don't mean the same thing. So yeah, I still think BNB greater than Coinbase, even though BNB is not allowed, at least not in Canada or US yet. I think they will get US support soon, but Canada, we do have Coinbase, but I still use Crypto.com over Coinbase. I tried using it once. I'll agree with the fees. They're pretty high, so not touching that. Thank you very much. Yeah, if we're talking about breaches, there was a breach that stemmed from cyber criminals bribing rogue overseas support agents who abused their access via social engineering, not a technological flaw. It exposed data for under 1% of users. There were no funds or keys compromised. And even Brian Armstrong, remember, he did something. He fired some Indian workers, I think, because of something related to that. So, I don't know, dude. But yeah. Let's go. We have 1 cent. My portfolio is rising. Look at that. I made the right call. We're up $18 on this. And I could sell. And I can make a staggering $18 right here, right now. Will Bitcoin dip to 65,000 by the end of this year? I voted no. I gave my reasons why. Looks like I'm darn right. I could take profits here. I think I'm going to hold on to it for longer, though. I'm going to be ambitious with it. That's cool, though. I like that. Because I was expecting that too. Even if Bitcoin, I was saying, like, if Bitcoin rises to 100,000, this thing is the odds of people thinking the odds of Bitcoin dropping to 65,000 will be much lower. Nobody's going to think that Bitcoin will hit 65,000 if we rise early on this year to somewhere close to 100,000, which I think we can do if the United States, Israel, and Iran would chill out a little bit, right? I don't know. They seem like they really want to go into war, so whatever, dude. So be it. That means I would have to sell eventually, or I could just hold on to it until the end of the year. Nothing's going to force me to sell. And even based off my own analysis as well, like I said, the whole 4-year, I'm still basing it off of a 4-year cycle, but like the election cycle, okay, this actually has to do with presidential elections. Bitcoin has not dropped below the price of a presidential election after having its bull run during a bear market. It never drops lower than the price that it was during the presidential election. So just saying. This year it's 66K, Kamala Harris-Trump election. So 65K, probably not likely, according to my estimates. And I mean, like, even at the worst of the worst, I mean, honestly, there was no real fundamental reason why we should have been at 80,000, but the lowest point we hit this time around was 80,000. April 7, I could get behind because, yeah, everybody was scared because of tariffs, I would agree. That was at 74,000, the lowest of Bitcoin. Even still, like, we didn't drop that to 66,000 or lower. So 65K is out of the question. And it was one of the higher odds, so, and the safest one in my opinion. So I decided to take it. 75K, people are still pricing in a 74% chance that we hit that this year. That's a pretty high percentage. I don't think, okay, maybe we will. Maybe we will. I wouldn't rule it out. And it's weird. The next option is 100K. 81% of people think that Bitcoin will go above 100,000 this year. At least once. And that's the highest percentage out of all of these percentages. 81% of people think we're hitting 100K, which is a good thing. And if we do, when that does happen, first of all, I will be taking profits on Bitcoin, and I will take profits from whatever number this gives me next. What is my gain right now? What was it again? $18.66. I'm going to screenshot this in my brain. Okay. And I'll come back to this, I guess, in the future. We'll see. Wonderful. That concludes the stream for tonight. I was thinking, like, should I maybe do like a pre-stream? Would that be interesting? I don't know, like me preparing like all the tabs for the stream, kind of giving my thoughts on random stuff I'm reading throughout crypto Twitter, because I kind of don't have the chance to do that. Yeah, I could do it, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of boring in my opinion if I do it in like a normal stream, just randomly scrolling through Twitter. Like you could just do that yourself if you wanted to, but I'm talking about like a pre-stream, just going through stuff and be like, hey, maybe I could talk about that. Oh, this is related to this. I'll talk about this first and then this next, right? Or just seeing stuff happen in real time. I don't know, something like that. Plans for the future. Maybe I can monetize that, and I don't know. So there's that. Work has been decent. I've been just shadowing, so not much from my end, which I don't mind. It's fine. A lot of new stuff for like the software systems that I have to learn. I know I worked at the same kind of similar work before. It was with collections, right? So that was the same kind of work I was doing in the past. The call flows are a little bit different. The systems are significantly different. They look even more old-fashioned, if you could believe that, than what I was doing at the previous job. So that's a big difference. But whatever. Seems like it's extra steps, and they want you to do it all in one monitor. That's also a downgrade. Like at least at my other work, they would give you 2 monitors to do your thing, which even still I would only use one because I thought I was better than everyone else, but I ended up caving. I ended up using the 2 monitors because it was better. This work though, they only gave me 1 monitor, and they're like, yeah, we expect you to do it all in 1 monitor and have all your screens like minimized, not minimized, but like, you know, split them into 4 quarters across the whole screen. It's like, dude, no, that's just so much work. Because like I click on one thing and the window like overshadows the rest of the tab, and everything is so tiny. I can't do it. And I bought a big desk, and I have 3 monitors that are doing nothing. So I'm taking up 2 of the monitors now for work. That's what I was discussing before. There's that. Tomorrow, well, actually, first, before I talk about tomorrow, my schedule for next week will actually be good. It will be, and I don't know if this is my permanent schedule anymore. I have no idea what's going on with my schedule. It's all over the place. Apparently, it's going to be from 9 to 4, which, first of all, that's 7 hours per day, Monday to Friday. Unless we're including a Saturday in there. I don't think we will. Last I checked, it's supposed to be 8-hour shifts. How are my breaks going to work? Like, I should be starting at 8 if I'm ending at 4. That makes more sense. Or if I'm starting at 9, I should end at 5. Yeah, I know. Classic 9 to 5 job. And then the other thing was like, no, actually you're working from... Before they were telling me, it's going to be from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then that's like, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 9 hours. So what are we doing here? Like, am I working 7 hours per day? Or it should be 8 hours? And now it's 9 hours? Or maybe 8.5? I don't know. I think they said 2:30 to 11. And also 11, like, that's the schedule I don't want. I know it's more hours and it's probably better. But I think I would prefer the morning shift, honestly. Which is crazy, coming from a guy like me. I'm more of like a stay up all night kind of guy. Even though I don't do it much anymore, but... Yeah, I don't know. I was willing even to work an overnight shift at another previous job, but I called them today. I ended up resigning for it because now I started this new job. Because I was supposed to go back to work with them on Monday. So, hey, they canceled on me last minute. I canceled on them last minute. Take that. I hope you don't watch this and be resentful over it. Look, man, I'm just trying to get by in life, okay? So there's that. Tomorrow I have a funeral in the morning. That's it. No, nobody like close to me. It's just a general funeral that I have to attend, so I'll be there. That's in the morning though, so tomorrow's stream will be normal. Sunday stream should be normal. And then next week, Monday to Friday, should also be normal if that other person didn't give me the wrong schedule. Because it's 3 separate people telling me 3 separate schedules now, and I don't know which one to pay attention to. I'm just going to stick with the one that I'm dealing with the most right now, the closest one. And that's the 9 to 4 shift, which is 7 hours. It's weird, dude. I don't know, but I'm still in training either way. Like, I'm not actually doing any typing or physical work. So it's just shadowing all this time, which is fine. I'm fine with it. So yeah. In the meantime, I've let Zcash kind of rest here. I'm not putting a stop loss at break even. I'm letting that do its thing. Bitcoin might actually close out, and I don't know if I should remove that. I actually don't think I should have this stop loss here. Maybe I will. I don't know. What do I do with this? If I have the stop loss here, it's going to stop me out and then like moon tomorrow, which sure. And if I don't have it here and I like just remove a stop loss completely because I want to buy more to increase my exposition, it's going to drop to where I want it to, but then we're going to flip our trend and go lower, and then we're going to bomb Iran or something like that. That's going to happen. So what do? I'll guarantee the 50, and hey, if it continues rising, so be it. There will always be opportunities in the market, okay? It's not going to permanently freeze tomorrow. You have the rest of your life to find a better opportunity in the stock market or in the crypto market. You're fine. Don't be hurting yourself over one trade. That's my little advice for it. All right. That's it for tonight then. There's my little life updates. And I will see you guys tomorrow then. Okay. Have a great rest of your evening.